Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on List or Pros TV. Today I'm in our Mesa studio and I have via Skype Dominic Hernandez of Realty One Group. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining me on Real Estate Pros, Dominic.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So me and Dominic have been friends for a long time, but there might be somebody that is watching this that don't know who you are. So give us a little bit of background, how long you've been in real estate, and we'll go from there.
Well, like you said, my name is Dominic, and I'm with Realty One Group here out of the Tempe office. And I've been in real estate not that long, actually. I think it's been about 8 months. The end of this month is 8 months. Just enjoying every day, learning, and doing everything I can to bring value to my clients. So yeah, out of the Tempe office, Realty One Group.
Awesome. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, bringing value to the marketplace, whether that be actually formally with Lister Pros, and then we also work together at Wells Fargo. But you're one of a few people that I can really vouch for when it comes to work ethic and like there's only you got to be in my top 3 of all time people I've ever worked with when it comes to work ethic, and that's a lot because I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of different people from the bank, from all over the place, from Lister Pros all over the place. But it's I
appreciate that, man, very much. Thank you.
Yep. So, anyways, I know that's not real estate related, but I just want to throw that out there.
No, but I appreciate that. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. And we go back quite a ways. But in regards to real estate, let's go ahead and talk about how things are going. We know there's a lot of different things going on in the world right now. So talk to us about current market conditions and what are you seeing out there?
Well, I mean, it hasn't changed much in the last 3 weeks. Of course, you have to kind of let it run its course with the virus and all that stuff. You do see some things in the immediate that are impacted, like our title company pretty much went to appointment only. Hold on real quick about Wells Fargo. I got a $250 check in the mail. So thank you, Wells Fargo.
Hey,
you'll probably get one too, Jordan.
You think? Are you serious? No.
You're probably.
They're
I don't
like
know, it just came in the
reparations
mail.
checks
I'm like,
what they put all the employees through or something.
Yeah, they got all those fantastic lawsuits. So anyway, that was a surprise. I got that in the mail yesterday. But anyway, back to your question. Yeah, the immediate impacts are little things like I had a signing last week and it was so eerie. It felt like a ghost town. Like there was, everybody looked like they didn't want to be there. Nobody was touching. And, usually it's a pretty happy occasion. People are bringing out the champagne, so on and so forth, but it was very odd. And then shortly after, the title office, is only doing appointments only. And now they're pretty much closed down and just sending mobile notaries. So you see that in the immediate, being affected immediather. Lenders, obviously, they've been on probably the wildest ride the last few weeks. Everybody thought, that, their rates were completely screwed up because the Fed rate had dropped all the way down to 0, but that wasn't necessarily the case. It did kind of fluctuate there, and it's still fluctuating the last several weeks. But the fact remains, rates are still good when it comes to lending. And as far as the housing market and real estate specifically, you just can't tell right now. You have to let a little bit of time go past. And like I told you, in the immediate, basically the effect is seen where, we almost had a buyer pull out because they're a little too scared. They don't know if they're going to have a job. Everybody's being sent home. Some people are just flat out being laid off. And I think that's where you're going to see the main impact. I was telling Fry a second ago, we activated 2 listings last week and they're good listings. They would have normally been hot listings 3 weeks ago, and I don't think they would have lasted a day. They were priced just right. We run very accurate comps. I say we because, as you know, I work with Katie, my wife, and we're not a team necessarily, but we have 2 vastly different spheres, and so we kind of keep things separate, but we work together to kind of just support each other. Obviously, I speak Spanish, so I service that part of the demographic that she just can't service. So the big reason why we kind of just do our own thing for the most part, but support each other. But anyway, those listings would have been gone quick, Jordan, 3 weeks ago, but they almost got no love over the weekend. Obviously, my approach is I like to have a sound marketing strategy. So, we do professional video, photos through you guys, and we've had some showings, but not nearly what it would have been 3 weeks ago. I think those houses would have been gone in one day because one is off of Stapley and Southern. As you know, anything under 300, was flying off the shelves. It didn't stand a chance, and you had dozens of offers within a day on that type of listing, and it's still there. So I think that's where you're kind of seeing people kind of get cold feet because while there is no data to kind of support how the virus has impacted real estate just yet, it's all going to lie on, people being jobless. Nobody's going to buy a house if they have no revenue coming in. And I do think that it will affect listings where there has been a severe shortage in listings the last 2 years. In February, we were at 2.14 as far as months worth of listings. And as you know, in a healthy market, that's 6 months worth of inventory. And I think inventory will increase because people will panic because they're either being laid off or they don't have a job. And that's, for a lot of people, that's their only source of where they can actually get any kind of income is going to be the equity they have in their house. And they may be scrambling to sell before in their mind, the house becomes worthless, or those values drop and they're going to go look for rentals or whatever. So in my personal opinion, I think that's where we'll kind of see it kind of level off, where we're finally having some inventory because, recently, pretty much since I got my license at the end of July, I think I've closed 15 deals since then. We have 5 in escrow right now, 3 active listings. We are working with a few active buyers, but there were no houses. That's why I know for a fact, like the Mesa house would have been gone in a day because it's listed under 300. In the mid 250s, there was nothing really coming up in that price range. But again, it's all going to depend on people's jobs, I believe. And I think we will see the market level out if the virus, continues to be of this great of an impact. And by all, by everything we've seen that's being reported and the raw numbers from the CDC, the worst is yet to come. So I think the market will see a leveling off. But as you know, with real estate, it's a necessity. There are structures everywhere. People need somewhere to live. And I think the bigger impact will be in commercial real estate with businesses having to close up shop. So, again, another long-winded answer to a short question.
I know, but you have a good point there. There is a lot of uncertainty in the market, right? And it's causing a lot of things that we really haven't seen, right? Homes that were flying off the market 3 weeks ago are not flying off the market anymore, or not seeing as many showings. And I've been tracking it because I haven't. Obviously, I care about real estate and want to see how things are going. But over the last week or two, if you look at number of listings and over past, the trend goes quite a bit up.
I think there was another 1,000 listings activated. So somewhere around that
lots
number.
Lots of listings, and then closings. I've been tracking as well. It's pretty. Maybe a slightly decrease, but there's still closings happening, right? But I think the biggest thing you'll see is is more listings due to uncertainty, like you said, people wanting to sell because it is an uncertain time. But also, what are you seeing on the buyer side of things? Are you seeing people like, hey, let's hold off and wait and see what happens, or is it more like?
We had one client say that, they're just too afraid, they may lose their jobs or whatever. But the bottom line is this. I'll answer it in 2 parts. The first is rates are still low. So if you want to take advantage of what was historically low rates, it still is the time to get into a house because rates, are sub, 4% at the moment. Rates are still low, Of course, that depends on your credit and all that stuff as well. But if you have good credit, you're in position to buy. And you want to lock yourself into, the big commitment, like a 30-year mortgage, right now is still a good time to do that based on the rates, because we don't know what those rates will look like 6 months from now. The second part of that is, to answer your question about buyers, again, we had someone just, get cold feet. And the other part of it is, I think we closed probably like 4 or 5 deals for buyers in the last 3 weeks or whatever. I think it's 4, I don't know. But anyway, handing the key over with so much uncertainty in the air, not even being able to touch someone. And, I had a couple of clients Even ones that we sold houses to in January, February, ask, is my house going to be worth anything 6 months from now? And the look on their face, because it's kind of like, wow, this is done now. And I just bought a house that in their mind, I maybe could have bought for $150,000 this time next year. So people are thinking
Right,
like that.
right.
I really don't believe there's going to be that drastic of a drop off, obviously, just using common sense, unless the virus starts wiping everybody out, and there's some sort of apocalypse type of situation going down.
Right,
Um,
right.
Barring that, I don't think prices are going to drop that much. You may see it level off. And it is a little unsettling to have to look them in the eye and feel like maybe you did, the wrong thing by your customer. But then you think about it more, it's like, you didn't. The rates are great. They got a good deal. We negotiated, very, very strongly on their part. So ultimately, for a couple of them, was down payment assistance and negotiating the seller pay full closing costs. And, for a few of them, they got, their HOA paid for 5 years, for 6 months, for 2 months, or whatever. So at the end of the day, I, feel they all got a great deal, but there's just so much uncertainty. They're scared. They're really afraid.
Right.
So.
All right, so let's move on from market updates and let's talk about your team. Well, not necessarily a team. Like you mentioned, you do work with your wife. You guys kind of still operate independently. But let's talk a little bit about your guys' business and the things that you guys focus on to find success. Because you did mention you've done, what did you say, you're 8 months in and you've done 15 deals. That's very impressive for a new agent. The majority of agents don't find that much success that early on in their career. So talk to us a little bit about how have you found that success so early in your career, and what are those factors that you attribute that to?
Quite frankly, I take this back to when I was at Lister Pros. You learn so much, having done this podcast with you, we've shot, so many of these, and you listen, Lister Pros has the,
Hey, this is all born at a gym session when we were working out one night,
oh
right?
my goodness, all the ideas, all the strategy, but
I remember, yeah.
I take it back to Lister Pros because I learned so much, of course, not only from you, about a lot of things, but top agents. Lister Pros has the privilege to work with agents that actually do a lot in their respective markets. And so hearing them talk, it's mainly being consistent in your approach with what you deliver to your clients, whether it's how you market their listings, but more importantly, how they treat their clients. We've everybody from, Daniel Barraza to Candy Bowen, they're always focused on that value piece. And so when I started real estate, that's kind of my focus is, okay, what is a general consumer? What are some of their concerns when it comes to buying a home? Some people think it's too, some people really think it's a goal they may not achieve, but you kind of have to break it down and into different pieces. So for instance, a certain demographic may not be flush with cash. So you explain to them that you don't have to put 20% down. There are programs out there that will allow you, bond programs that will pay for your down payment on a home. And as an agent, if you have a competent agent, they can and they should be able to negotiate the seller pay your closing costs and basically negotiate something that is to your benefit. And a lot of times you get back your earnest deposit. So again, focusing on that value piece. So what I did when I jumped in, one thing that Katie was kind of lacking and that she admittedly is not the greatest in is, marketing. And obviously I got tons of practice. This is why I take it back to Lister Pros. Being very aware of what I'm posting. So I jumped right in the second I got my license and began educating myself about the market. So what I'll do is I'll go and create videos with voiceover monthly, going over the market in detail so people in layman's terms understand the data and how that affects them, whether they're looking for a house or whether they're looking to list a house. And so obviously, since I got my license, it's been a full-blown seller's market, to put it that way. And so really getting those homeowners to understand, well, if you want to upgrade or downgrade or leverage your equity to pay off, some long-standing debt, now would be the time, because, people are lined up for houses, especially within the Valley. Not so much Maricopa and Santan. Those markets were a little slower, where you saw a lot more listings there. Obviously, people have to commit to making those drives. It's a little more difficult, but focusing on the value aspect, Jordan, that's all people care about. If you're a buyer, you want to know, how much of my money am I going to have to put, as a down payment or closing cost, or can I keep my money to do upgrades, via a down payment assistance program, et cetera. So just focusing on that value piece, just like we did at Lister Pros. And and helping people understand that marketing is really important. And it, from the agent perspective, it's very important because I think I had mentioned to you, I get it hit up almost daily, on my social pages, whether it's posting about the market and how it affects buyers and sellers, or just neat little tools such as 3D. You guys gave me, a couple of tools to post onto my pages and, open people's eyes to, if you hire me as your agent, this is how I do things. We have a very comprehensive marketing strategy. It does achieve the necessary results, and basically, just repeat. So we've been fortunate enough to get quite a bit of business since I got in, and have pretty robust pipeline, probably somewhere around 40 or so leads that are, will be ready to buy or sell here in the near future. So yeah.
And if you were to identify that one activity that has really led to your success, what would you say that activity has been for you?
Just like we spent all those hours talking about for years, delivering the appropriate customer experience, and that's what it's about. So I think at one point in time we had we had 7 in escrow. One client doesn't necessarily need to know that you're working with 6 other people, or that you're stressed out like crazy trying to get all this paperwork done, and you're leaving Maricopa to run to Santan Valley, and then to Mesa, then to Ahwatukee, so on and so forth. And so basically it's about the customer experience. So you want to make sure that they feel like they're the only one that you're working with. And it's just a juggling act. If you're working with multiple clients at one point in time, you want to make sure you're answering your phone at all times. We've heard this through tons and tons of real estate pros interviews, is answer your phone, answer text messages. So one of the things that we do is we create a group chat, as long as the client wants to, between Katie, myself, whoever the client may be. And we want to make sure that no matter what time of day, no matter what's going on, they will get somebody to answer within minutes. And we know how important that was at Lister Pros. It's a now world. There's technology. People aren't trying to wait for answers. And if they're waiting, guess what? They're going to the other agent, or in your case, right, to the other company. And that right there's the X factor. It's as simple as human interaction and the appropriate customer service experience. I know how committed you are, and even now, to providing that consistently. And that's really it's all it boils down to at the end of the day. You have no buyers or listings unless you're basically showing and proving, and making sure that each and every customer feels special, and like they're the only ones that you're working with.
Absolutely. So if somebody is watching this and they want to pick your brain about the market, what they should do, or somebody that's looking to buy or sell in the Phoenix area market, how do people get a hold of you?
Okay. I will say this, guys, don't be afraid. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we know that rates have fluctuated a little, but it's still a great market for you guys to buy, because rates still are historically low. If you're looking to sell it is still a great time, because if you have substantial equity in your house, right now is the time to sell, because you will be able to cash out, I guess, if you want to say that, if you're looking to upgrade, downgrade, or pay off some debt. But basically, most people get a hold of me through DM on Instagram, or even Facebook. If you're more comfortable, you can text me or call me, 480-330-0996. If you don't want to talk to me or anything at the moment, you just kind of want to see what's out there, visit my website, domazrealtor.com, and you can do your own home searches there. Or, of course, email me, domazrealtor@gmail.com. So that's it.
That's it. Awesome, Dominic. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day managing your clients, and I'm glad to hear things are going very well for you. And one thing I do definitely respect about you and how you go about your business is that you've always seen the value in marketing properties, regardless if it's the best market or homes are flying off the market or not. You always respect the marketing aspect of your properties and putting them, the best foot forward. We've seen recently, since things started happening, we're seeing a spike in like videos and doing all these other things. These are things that you've been doing for a long, since you started your career as a real estate agent. And that just shows that you're willing to put the best foot forward for every single one of your listings, regardless of the sell price. So I wanted to recognize that. That's one thing I've recognized.
Thank you, and I appreciate you
from
guys
years
for
back.
doing the work. The work is always stellar. So quick plug: if you guys need property video, agents, you have to understand, a couple $100 is not going to impact your commission that much. And if it is that important to you, then you may not have deals. Once the market may get a little worse, possibly, or not, we don't know yet. But it's worth every penny, in my opinion, to have that consistent approach, so clients know exactly what they're getting, and they know that you're competent. You can run ads on their properties if need be, so on and so forth. So thank you, and thank you, Lister Pros, for all the work.
All right. So thank you for your time, Dominic, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you.